Jericho. Joshua fit the battle of Jericho. Joshua
fit the battle of Jericho. The battle Joshua, the battle Jericho. Joshua fit the battle of Jericho. The battle walls come tumbling down.
Joshua fit the battle of Jericho. Joshua fit the battle of Jericho.
Joshua fit the battle of Jericho.
The battle Jericho. The battle Jericho.
Joshua fit the battle of Jericho. The battle walls come tumbling down.
Joshua fit the battle of Jericho. Joshua fit the battle of Jericho.
Talk about your kings of Gideon.
Go on, you can talk about
your men of Saul.
Go on, yes, you can talk
Not
about
my
him.
good old Joshua at the battle of Jericho. Joshua fit the battle of Jericho.
The battle Jericho. The battle
Jericho. Joshua fit the battle of Jericho.
The battle
Joshua.
The battle Joshua fit the battle of Jericho. Joshua fit the battle of Jericho.
Right up to the walls of Jericho.
Jericho.
He marched with spear in hand.
Lo, that born Joshua.
That ram-worn Joshua cried.
The battle land in my hand.
God Almighty,
Then the lamb ram sheep horns began to blow.
the battle,
The trumpets began to
oh,
sound.
the battle,
Joshua commanded the churches to shout.
and the walls come a-tumbling down.
Lord, you know that
Joshua fit the battle, yes, the battle of Jericho. Joshua fit the battle, yes, the battle of Jericho. Joshua fit the battle, yes, the battle of Jericho. The walls come
tumbling down.
Oh Lord, you know that Joshua fit the battle, yes, the battle of Jericho. Joshua fit the battle, yes, the battle of Jericho. Joshua fit the battle, yes, the battle of Jericho. The walls come tumbling down.
Each year, members of the senior class join together to show their gratitude to all those generous college donors who have helped them by paying it forward themselves with donations to the college that will help students who come after them. To present the senior class gift, I invite Mary Grace Boyd and Chad Vickery to come forward. Ms. Boyd is a marketing and entrepreneurship major from Columbus, and Mr. Vickery also majored in marketing and entrepreneurship and is from Hartwell.
So each year, the Pay It Forward campaign encourages the college's outgoing class to continue the spirit of philanthropy at LaGrange College by giving back to the LC Fund. These generous donations given by students and others provide a multitude of financial support, amenities, and academic resources for the LC students. We would like to thank our campaign manager and senior development intern, Caitlin Deal, for her dedication and hard work on the campaign.
When we first arrived at LaGrange College, it was explained to us that LC had 4 pillars: service, civility, diversity, and excellence. The wellspring of LaGrange College is service, and I believe that this year's graduating class has exemplified that value to the fullest. Among our busy class schedules, internships, and student organization participation, this class has served the college in so many areas.
The class of 2019 has also paid it forward with the highest percentage to date. We are proud to announce that 78% of the class has paid it forward and left their mark on campus. Our class, with the help of our generosity of a matching gift from Mr. Wayne Johnson, we have raised a total of $2,176 for the LC Fund.
On behalf of the campaign team, we want to personally thank all of our incredible student donors. This campaign would not be a success without your generosity and love for this college campus. Because of you, the future of LaGrange College is brighter. We would also like to personally thank our advocate team for their hard work and dedication to this campaign. Biani Diaz, Brandon Collins, CJ Lord, Carolyn Harkness, Celeste Crow, Davita White, Eli Grant, Alyssa Chandler, Jamarcus Watkins, John Benton, Jonathan Grimes, Karen Lonk, Cassie Dismukes, Kelton Hunt, Sarah Gage, Sydney Parmer, Trenton Prater, and Tyler Martin.
We want to challenge our class to continue to pay it forward, not only to LaGrange College, but in their daily lives. LaGrange College has taught us a lot of things, but we believe the greatest lesson that we have learned here is how to serve others.
With that being said, President McAlexander, we present you with this check to the LC Fund on behalf of the class of 2019. Thank you, everyone.
Each year, the college grants to one exceptional student the Waits G. Henry Jr. Leadership Award. This award, named in honor of the 20th president of LaGrange College, is the highest award given to a student. The award is based on significant achievement in 3 areas: scholarship, service, and leadership. I'm extremely pleased to invite forward as the recipient of the Waits G. Henry Jr. Leadership Award for 2019, Caitlin Janelle Deal.
Good morning, fellow class of 2019. To begin, I would like to thank the faculty, staff, and the Board of Trustees for helping support students in their passions and journeys. Thank you to the families, friends, and mentors for getting us all here today, for we wouldn't be here without your support. I am honored and humbled to be this year's award winner and to have the opportunity to speak to you all today. It is a good feeling to be recognized for hard work, but this award is not about a trophy. To be honest, my dad sells trophies for a living. Trophies were a big part of my childhood, and without trophies, I wouldn't be graduating today. Thanks, Dad. Trophies are a great way for helping honor events, moments, and people. But here on the Hill, the lessons of compassion and service are the true awards. And while trophies are great, the real award is being able to walk away with a diploma in our hands and so many other gifts that were given to us by the college. And really, the award is going out and being a part of something greater than yourself. The award is seeing children paint a staircase in their community. It is having the opportunity to help carry the burden of what others are struggling with. Trophies are a great way to represent an achievement, but remembering that we have all already won is important. Throughout my time here at LaGrange College, I have learned so much, many things I didn't think I would. I have learned to be organized, professional, and how to cite a scholarly source. I have learned how to write a grant, critically think, and understand a budget. I have learned how to procrastinate, drink large amounts of coffee, and fake it till I make it. These are just a few things that I have learned here during my time on the Hill. But one thing stuck out the most: to be compassionate. For a while, I thought this was something that only nonprofit leadership majors discussed in our classrooms. Yes, that is a major here, and no, I did not major in volunteering. Rather, we discussed how to be compassionate, thoughtful, and humane. One of the many blessings about being a student of LaGrange College is that I was able to befriend people outside of my major. I am now lucky enough to have friends who will be educators, artists, nurses, and CFOs. Through conversations I have had with my peers about their coursework, I have learned that it is not just a nonprofit leadership requirement to discuss effective, compassionate leadership. Rather, it is in the hearts and souls of the faculty, staff, and students of LaGrange College. Since the beginning of my education in Cornerstone, we've had discussions about what it means to put yourself in someone else's shoes. In the past 4 years, I've been able to witness this work of through the work of student-led organizations. The students of LaGrange College are compassionate. Any given Tuesday and Thursday, I can promise you that you will find a number of student organizations fundraising for their philanthropy. From bake sales, clothing drives, and even a 24-hour stationary bike riding event. To be able to witness this kind of service is heartwarming. The change that can be made by people coming together for a cause is outstanding, and that is something that you can regularly find here. This past semester, our students had LaGrange College's first dance marathon, a 6-hour-long event dedicated to peer-to-peer fundraising to help support Children's Miracle Network Hospitals, an organization dedicated to provide the best health care for children. With a goal of $7,000, LaGrange College Dance Marathon managed to raise over $15,000. Yes. The day was filled with dancing, enjoying company with one another, and hearing the stories of families that we were helping. The event was attended by biology, nursing, psychology, business, art, and many other disciplines. This is LaGrange College. LaGrange College is compassion. In one of my classes, I had the pleasure of learning about Father Gregory Boyle. He is a priest in Los Angeles and founder of Homeboy Industries, an organization dedicated to helping ex-gang members take back their lives. He is also an amazing public speaker. Unfortunately, I am not Father Greg, for he is far too expensive to come speak, and I'm doing this pro bono, so to enlighten you, I'd like to share this quote with you all. Here is what we seek, a compassion that can stand in awe at what the poor have to carry, rather than stand in judgment at how they carry it. In other words, compassion is about seeing the burdens of others, and instead of judging them, taking action to help, listen, or to simply be kind. Through these wise words, we can take a minute to reflect on how we can implement this form of compassion in everything we do. This form of compassion is something I have witnessed since my first day at LaGrange College, and I remember some of the first questions that I was asked as a student that I would like to leave with you all today. How can we take care of one another? What do we owe one another? Take the things that LaGrange College has taught us, go forth and serve others, be compassionate of what others have to carry, and leave today not impressed by the awards and rewards of the past, but the future, but the lessons that we have learned about compassion for one another, and rather than stand in judgment of how others carry their burdens, but to carry it with them. Thank you.
Good morning. Each year, the LaGrange College Alumni Association presents its Distinguished Service Alumni Award. The recipient of this honor is selected based on his or her continuous devotion to and support of this institution and its mission to challenge the minds and inspire the souls of young men and women. This year, with deep respect and admiration, the Alumni Association recognizes James Jim Matthew Wood III, who earned his bachelor's degree in mathematics from LaGrange College in 1978. Jim, would you please come forward? Mr. Wood has supported LaGrange College for many years with his time, talent, and treasures. He received the 2009 Walter Malcolm Shackelford Alumni Achievement Award for being a distinguished alumnus and bringing honor to the college. He has served as a member of the Leadership Council from 2005 to 2009 and has been a member of the college's Board of Trustees since 2009. Jim and his wife, Ruthie Spears Wood, class of '78, a graduate of the college, created and continuously fund the Jane Ellen Spears, class of '47, Endowment Fund, in honor of Ruthie's mother. Their efforts have helped with the building of the Ida Callaway Hudson Lab Sciences Building, renovation of Case and J Callaway Science Building, and Lewis Library. He and his wife are members of the 1831 Society in recognition of their lifetime giving. He challenged the mind by continuing his education with a master's in business administration degree from the University of Virginia in 1982. After completing his MBA, he began his career as a systems analyst with Southern Railway, then served as a senior consultant with Anderson Consulting. He went on to work with financial business planning and market analysis with Coca-Cola USA and Coca-Cola Enterprises. Wood then worked with Georgia Pacific, where he established the trade marketing and information technology strategy functions. He joined AT&T, Bell South, in 1997 as Assistant Vice President of Information Technology Strategy. He retired as Vice President of AT&T's Technical Field Services Southeast. Although retired, he still serves as an adjunct instructor at Mercer Atlanta and an executive coach at Emory University's Goizetta School of Business. He has served on several state management information systems advisory forums, such as University of Alabama, MIS program Culver House School of Business, and University of Georgia, MIS program Terry School of Business. He has served his church, Decatur First United Methodist, as chair of council on ministries and chair of educational council. Jim, we are enormously grateful to you for your service to the college.
Thank you, Laura. Very, very kind words. When I started interviewing at Georgia Pacific for a job and I was sharing my resume, my future boss at the time, Dr. Jim Bostic, said, well, you've had trouble holding a job. And he was quite right. I've had the opportunity to hold several, and they've all been very, very rewarding. Seeing this crowd and then seeing the names of folks who have won this award in the past is very humbling. I must confess that I feel a little bit like the little boy who was taking a tour of the Hershey chocolate factory, and during the tour he fell off into the vat of chocolate. And as he was descending through the chocolate, his prayer was, "Oh Lord, please make my tongue equal to the task that is before it." So I will hopefully be up to that task. First off, greetings from the class of 78. Now, Caitlin, you should know class of 78 was the last class that Wace G. Henry presided over as president. That was a great honor to know Dr. Henry. It was also a great honor to know Dr. Shackelford as well. But I've got three things I want to share very quickly with you, class of 2019. The first is that you are very, very gifted. For multiple reasons. I won't go into all of them, but one of the things that is gifted is you have been gifted with loving families and a loving academic community. You've also been gifted with the love of a gracious Savior. But those gifts are not just to sit there, okay? In Luke's gospel, we're admonished that to whom much is given, much is required. And also speaking of gifts, Paul writes in Ephesians that for by grace we are saved, it is the gift of God. That's verses 8 and 9. But I want to point you to verse 10, which says, for we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, that we should walk in them. So with that gift brings an obligation. In essence, the gifts that you've received are God's gift to you. What you do with those gifts are your gifts to God. One of the things with that is, and I think most of you are, but I would encourage all of you to strive for the best. My mother, who met my father here in LaGrange, not at the college, but she was first director of Christian education at the Baptist Church, and then she taught at LaGrange College, LaGrange High School. She gave a talk one time to the Tri-High Y Club there, and her theme was, it's not a choice between good and bad, it's a choice between good and best. I must have heard that 1,000 times growing up. She would say, I don't worry about you doing something bad. And class of 2019, I don't worry about you doing something bad. My worry or my concern is, are you going to do the best that you can do with the gifts that you've been given? But you are very, very gifted. Second point, and this is a point that I learned from experience. Experience is one of those things that you gain when you're involved in something that's less than a complete success, okay? But learn to manage the tyranny of the urgent, okay? The urgent. Stephen Covey, in his book, First Things First, describes a 2x2 matrix with urgent and non-urgent and important and non-important. And there are too many times, too much. If you look at your life, if you look at the time within your life, which is the greatest gift you have, look for things that you're spending time on that are urgent but not important. And my wife has taken my phone, which is one of the biggest sources of urgent but not important items that take up our time. The thing that I would urge you with things that are unimportant or less important is to learn to deal with them on an asynchronous basis. I've dealt with technology quite a bit. Synchronous is where you handle it in the moment, in stream, okay? And there's certain things that are urgent and important, and you need to handle them in stream, okay, in a synchronous manner. But things like text and instant messages and whatever, those are things that you can handle in an async manner, okay? You can batch them, you can handle them in an async manner. But learn to manage the tyranny of the urgent. The final thing, and I would urge you to do, is that as you are going about the what, and I'll talk a little bit more about this, or a very short amount about this, the what of your life and your career, please learn to focus on the how as well, okay? When I left LaGrange, when I left University of Virginia, I was well schooled in a lot of whats, okay? Be it finance, accounting, marketing, operations, quantitative methods. I was real skilled at handling the what. And as you go into your careers and your life, you'll deal with a lot of what. If you're a teacher, you'll be preparing what? Lesson plans. You'll be conducting class, okay? So you're going to get skilled in the what. But remember, as you're conducting the what, to look at the how. And let me explain the importance of the how. As you go through and you're performing the what's in your life, okay? In business, you're solving problems, okay? One of the things I learned was that the way that I solved today's problem, the how that I solved today's problem, and you don't get a pass for solving today's problem. You have to. You have to find a way to solve the challenge of today. Okay? But the way that you solve that problem creates the environment that you begin to solve tomorrow's problem. And I've seen it play out. The truth of that statement is not something that I made up. It's something I experienced and found to be true. I saw people who the way they solved the what created barriers. One of the easiest way to create a barrier is when you solve today's problem, you don't show respect and uphold the dignity of the people that you're interacting with. But I've also seen the results of when you do solve and focus on today's problem and also the how that you solve today's problem, that you will reap the benefits of that environment that you create to solve tomorrow's problem. Again, the thing that in that I would encapsulate that is you can be, in the what, you can be efficient with tasks, okay? And I learned to be very efficient with tasks. But when you are dealing with people, if you try to be efficient with people, you will fail. You need to be effective with people and take the time that they deserve. Best of luck to you. We have high, high expectations for you. And we are very confident that you will rise to those expectations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim, for those excellent words of wisdom. LaGrange College seeks to honor those who have distinguished themselves through outstanding achievement and service to the academy, the church, business, or philanthropy. We are pleased and honored to present one such candidate today. Chairman Carmichael, the faculty and the Academic Affairs Committee of the Board of Trustees have recommended the following candidate for recognition: Louis Deckmar for the degree of Doctor of Humanities, honoris causa.
As chair of the trustees of the college, I take great pleasure in accepting the recommendations of the president and the faculty of LaGrange College, and I hereby authorize you to confer an honorary doctoral degree on Louis Deckmar, together with all the appropriate honors, rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. President McAlexander, please proceed.
Louis M. Deckmar, Doctor of Humanities, honoris causa. Man of peace, integrity, and courage. For more than 40 years, you have served as an officer of the law, a champion of America's founding principles: freedom of speech, individual liberties, and equality under the law. In 2017, the eyes of the world watched as you, LaGrange's chief of police, offered an apology for the murder of a young African-American man more than 75 years ago, a move you hoped would begin to heal ages-old wounds. With the same goal, you helped form the Racial Trust Building Initiative, bringing together Troup County citizens of all races in an effort to build bridges and form lasting relationships. Such efforts have earned the respect of law officials around the world. You have served as president of the International Association of Chiefs of Police. Just last month, you and your department were honored by the National Council for Behavioral Health for your work. You enjoy passionate and lively discussions on politics, although friends say it is difficult, and I count myself as one of those friends, say it is difficult to win these debates because you always insist on using facts to back up your positions. Your wife, Carmen, and your children, Chris and Kathy, are the center of your world. An avid outdoor enthusiast, you enjoy scuba diving, skiing, hiking, and traveling. But it is your passion for truth and justice that instructs everything you do, whether it is on the job or in the community. Building relationships and nurturing trust, you work to make the world a better place for the next generation. For your courage in standing up for what is right, your respect for the dignity of all people, and your commitment to peace, we are proud to bestow upon you the degree of Doctor of Humanities, honoris causa.
President McAlexander, Board of Trustees, administration, faculty, and distinguished guests. I'm extremely grateful to join you today. It's a singular honor to receive this award and recognition. Thank you. Class of 2019, it's a privilege and pleasure to address you this morning. And as Henry VIII said to his 6 wives, I shall not keep you long. So, let me ask you a simple question. What will the impact of history be on you and your career? A year after the sad and tragic events in Ferguson, Missouri, I read an article in the newspaper with a banner headline, Public Confidence in Police at 20-Year Low, according to a Gallup poll. When I returned to the office, I read the entire poll on the web. It rated the public confidence of 16 institutions. Sure enough, public confidence in police had dropped 11 points compared to the confidence level it enjoyed a year before Ferguson. But when I reviewed the other 15 institutions, the same Gallup poll, President Obama was at 44%, public education 43%, Supreme Court 32%, the media 19%, big business 18%, and Congress 9%. So the public confidence in police at its 20-year low was still significantly higher than those institutions and others. For a variety of reasons, many of our institutions are challenged as it relates to public trust and confidence. But today, I shall speak to the institution I know best, policing. Based on the rest of the poll, I felt somewhat reassured by the comparatively high standing the police enjoyed despite the year of Ferguson. That was until I took a deeper dive into the poll, where the findings were cataloged by race. The poll numbers showed that African American confidence in the police was just over 25%, about half of the general poll. Regretfully, that lack of trust by Black Americans in police institutions was consistent with my experience here in LaGrange. For the past 25 years, I've worked with numerous groups and communities. Mistakenly, I had believed that the personal trust I had established with African American citizens translated into institutional trust for our police department. but that was not the case. I was disabused of that notion several years ago by one of the captains at the police department. She, by the way, is a graduate of LaGrange College. The captain saw two elderly African American women looking at historical photographs of police officers in the hallway of the police department. She then heard one of them whisper to her companion as she pointed to one of those pictures of officers that had served decades ago, "They killed our people." When the captain shared this with me, she indicated she had no idea to what they were referring. Troubled by those words, I began my research of the history of the LaGrange Police Department. In short order, I found that there were articles revealing that in 1940, a young man, much the same age as you are, named Austin Calloway had been arrested and jailed by the LaGrange Police Department. The charge, assault on a white woman. In 1940, that charge could mean anything from a physical attack to a black man failing to avert his eyes as he passed a white woman on the street. Sadly, that was the nature of those times. Within hours of Austin's arrest, he was forcibly taken by gunpoint from the police department by 6 individuals wearing hoods. Within hours, Austin was discovered by strangers in a rural part of Troup County. He had been shot 5 times. Austin Calloway died shortly after arriving at the LaGrange Hospital. My research discovered no record of any police investigation. I found no indication that authorities mounted a search for Austin after his abduction. There was no indication of community outrage. The only official notice of Austin's lynching appeared in a comment in a grand jury report indicating that the LaGrange City Jail needed better locks. There was little interest by our local news media. There was, however, significant interest by the national media covering Austin's lynching. New York Times, Washington Post, Chicago Tribune covered it as part of their editorial campaign for a national anti-lynching law. But that legislation was stalled and defeated by Southern Democrats in Congress. Between 1870 and 1960, there were 5,000 lynchings in the U.S. The number of lynchings in Georgia was second highest in the nation, second only to Mississippi. Add to that historic backdrop Tuskegee experiments, located less than 60 miles from where you sit today. Between 1932 and 1972, the United States Public Health Department conducted, without consent, medical experiments on African Americans. For over 40 years, the United States Health Department intentionally withheld vital medical treatment from black Americans, clinically charting the progress of a disease that could have been successfully treated but was not. The result of those experiments, senseless and needless deaths to many of those African American patients. Throughout the South during that time period and before was the forced sterilization of African American women known as Mississippi appendectomies. And here in LaGrange, we have our history of slavery and segregation. According to the census, in 1860, of the 128 counties, LaGrange Troup County had the 5th highest slave population in Georgia. After slavery ended, Jim Crow laws were enforced by the LaGrange police and other institutions of local government. The context and consequences of all that history is seldom taught effectively in our public and private schools. But African Americans who were alive, alive decades ago, pass on that oral history. Thank you. They speak of incidents of terror and lynching, and they share a history of those times with succeeding generations. That history includes a litany of injustices inflicted on a race of people. and resulting in a distrust of many of our institutions. Austin Calloway's lynching was a part of that history. My own failure to understand the consequences of history and race had for years impaired our police department's ability to build trust in those communities most impacted by crime. I should have armed myself and our officers with the information, the history, and the tools needed to deal with the frustration, hostility, and anger that they would confront in some quarters of our city. Without those tools, our officers' response in some cases only reinforced the African American community's historic perception of the police. But, in the words of Martin Luther King, the time is always right to do right. In August 2016, recognizing my responsibility of leadership, I approached the NAACP president, Ernest Ward, and asked him to work with me to officially acknowledge and apologize for Austin Calloway's murder. Ernest generously and immediately said yes. Within short time, that effort was joined by other interested citizens from the faith community, our mayor, a council member, LaGrange College president, and a state court judge. And importantly, surviving members of Austin Calloway's family. During this work, some in the white community asked, why should we acknowledge and apologize for outrageous actions committed by people who lived long ago and are dead and gone? Others in the black community suspected that this would be just another hollow effort to gloss over centuries of injustice and cruelty. To each, I responded, the LaGrange Police Department that was responsible for Austin Calloway's death is still here, and its police officers carry the burden of that history every day. And that history is relevant today, as evidenced by the comments made by those two elderly African American women at the police department just several years ago. Ultimately, the work of our group resulted in a public acknowledgement and apology for the grave injustice done to Austin Calloway and our African American community. In the same church that held Austin's funeral, Warren Temple Methodist Church. That event was only a first step. Many more steps to build trust within the African American community have followed, but there is still much work to be done. My point to you today, this work cannot be done unless we understand the impact of history on the problems that confront us today. Earlier this year, I was in London for an international summit for police chiefs. After the meeting, I had occasion to go to the National Gallery of Art. While at the gallery, I viewed a 16th century painting by Titian titled Allegory of Prudence. It was a painting consisting of three faces representing the past, the present, and the future. The Latin inscription beneath it captures the challenge of your generation and of each generation that has preceded and that will follow you. It reads, "We learn from yesterday, so today we act prudently, and in that way we don't spoil tomorrow." There is no job or career field devoted to addressing past harms. The obligation cannot be delegated to the federal or state government. It must be done by people that care from all walks of life, one community at a time. It requires people who sometimes share a little in common, liberals and conservatives, Democrats and Republicans, progressives and traditionalists, but are still willing to work together. And as different as each may be, they're united by a common purpose, to improve the future of their community. Class of 2019, I'm confident that LaGrange College has transmitted to you the hard lessons of yesterday, which are our history. So today, you can consider that history and act with prudence as you work alongside those who have divergent backgrounds, opinions, and beliefs. And by doing that, you will not spoil the future, but rather you will improve it. Because graduates, as you begin your career, the probability is high that you will work for an institution that has challenges in the arena of public confidence and trust. In the words of my favorite philosopher, Dr. Seuss, unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing's going to get better. It's not. Thank you and congratulations, class of 2019.
The state of Georgia has authorized LaGrange College to confer academic degrees on behalf of the trustees of the college. I accept the recommendations of the president and the faculty of LaGrange College, and I hereby authorize President Mac Alexander to confer degrees on the class of 2019 graduates, together with all the appropriate honors, rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. President Mac Alexander and Vice President Aubrey, please begin.
And now will candidates for the following degrees please rise? Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Business Administration, Bachelor of Music, Bachelor of Science, and the Bachelor of Science in Nursing. President McAlexander, the faculty of LaGrange College certify that these candidates have met the requirements for conferring of degrees of the Bachelor of Arts, the Bachelor of Business Administration, the Bachelor of Music, the Bachelor of Science, or the Bachelor of Science in Nursing, and recommend that the appropriate degrees be conferred upon each candidate.
By the authority granted to me by the trustees and by the state of Georgia, I confer upon each of you the degree which you have earned, together with all the appropriate honors, rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. Those of you attaining your bachelor's degree may move your tassel from your right to your left and your college ring to face out, signifying that you are graduates of LaGrange College.
At this time, candidates for the Bachelor of Arts degree, the Bachelor of Business Administration degree, and the Bachelor of Music degree, please come forward to receive your diploma. Robert Lavoisier Allen, Jr. Tyler Z. Bars. Sarah Megan Belcher. John Mitchell Benton. Elizabeth Ann Boykin. Maya Jeanette Britton. Sarah Celeste Brown. Kylie Brooke Cofield. Brandon Samuel Collins. Celeste Lorna Crow. Caitlin Janelle Deal. Sarah Elizabeth Dixon. Danielle Arissa Doverspike. Kaylee Morgan Drake. Ashlyn Bailey Eubanks. Hannah Lee Farley. Mara Lauren Farr. Alexandra Diane Flippin. Madison Brooke Fountain. Sarah Emily Gage. Elena Chanel German. John Dale Giefing. Seth Timothy Golden. Eli Harrison Grant. Lee Ann Hamlin. Megan Alyssa Harrison. Hannah Elizabeth Henry. Jacob Todd Hester. Scott Leahy Hoffman. Tiffany Marie Jackson. Yukang Yang. Hannah Mackenzie Cato. Alana Brazel King. Blake Barrett Conans. Brecken Riley Lewis. Thomas Connor Linney. Mary Elizabeth Loftus. Karen Bernadette Lonk. Clayton Warren Lord Jr. Chesley Tyler Martin. Jamison Lindarius McCrae. Jessica May Morgan. Justin Lewis Mosley. Griffin Moat Newsom. Ifioma Favor Odiete. David Royce Owens. Paige Michelle Pilgrim. Thomas Kent Prater. Brianne Elizabeth Pritchett. Juliana Sanchez Ramirez. Lauren Michelle Sanders. Colin Taylor Sanders Lamourie. Asim Jamal Shakir Jr. Charles Braden Sheely. Jonathan Charles Slade. Nicole Marie Spafford. Alexandria Celeste Spates. Shaikela Kimieta Tulsi. Emma Lillian Voss. Stephen Pierce Wagner. Jamarcus Deshaun Watkins. Kayla N. White. Brennan Steyer Wilkes. Bonnie Catherine Woods. Michelle Antoinette Wright. Aaron Brooke Addison. Brett Shane Ammons. Mary Grace Wickline Boyd. James Thomas Bridges. Anna Marie Britt. Juwan Keir Brown. Marcus Caleb Campbell. Melanie Ann Green. James Tyler Hale. Kelly James Hall. Sarah Virginia Hearn. Andrea Lee Heflin. Rhett Bonner Holland. Austin Brandt Jones. Andrew Powell Lewinsky IV. Megan Elizabeth Marsho. Jalen Rashad McCallum. John Henry McCormick II. Sydney Louise Palmer. David George Parsons. Daniel Joseph Province II. Charles Robert Simpson. Shamar Lester Slappy. Colton Tyler Stairs. Taylor Brooke Threlkill. Nadia Nicole Townsend. Chad Owen Vickery. John Cleveland Williamson. Gamaliel Jason Gonzalez Hernandez. Kelton Davin Hunt. Nicholas Allen McConnell. Trenton Kyle Prater. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science and the Bachelor of Science in Nursing, please come forward to receive your diploma. Elijah Olufemi Adedoyin. Corey Alexander Acock. Elijah Mark Brogg. Austin Wade Brown. Riley Grace Klupekacek. Keaton William Coates. Biani Guadalupe Diaz. Sarah Catherine Dismukes. John William Gallagher. Daniel Allen Graves. Jonathan Reed Grimes. Haley Brianna Hall. Lexi Shea Hall. Carolyn Ann Harkness. Hiram Hero Oropeza. Daniel Thomas Haskell. Sydney Rosick Hodorf. Katie Nicole Jacobson. Tony Arthur Jankowski. Jonathan Wesley Jones. Michaela Janine Keel. Megan Marie Lennon. Jonathan Carl Fletcher Mann. Jared Anthony Melvin. Matthew Thomas Morton. Jacob Brownlee Odom. Carson Lynn Powell. Robert Lewis Randolph. Ryan Matthew Ross. Austin Ryan Sapp. Joseph Luke Sauls. Dustin Lee Tardy. Tanya Tucker. Travis James Thompson. Marquavius Jabray Tucker. Arlie Jordan Weber. Davida Kiera White. William Edward Wooten, Jr. Benjamin Lyle Bram. Christy Dion Bryant. Juanita Poole Chelsea. Windrick Sharita Clements. Melissa Dawn Cole. Ashlyn Patricia Croft. Emily Ann Cruz. Kara Emily Estelle. Haley Ruth Flora. Timothy Joseph Garnett. Callie Ray Gibson. Lauren Hope Grace. Nicola Marie Guzzi. Christy Meacham Harry. Sarah R. Whitten Hersey. Jalen Welnick James. Madison Reagan Lester. Caitlin Ray Little. Rochelle Renee Lovett. Leanna Marie Luke. Olivia Caroline Maxwell. Tammy Michelle Pritchett McGee. Crystal Lauren Jax Miller. Haley Kendall Morris. Anna Serrier Bridget Mosqueda. Teresa Leanne Mullis. Elizabeth Mary Ann Nelson. Caitlin Michelle Newell. Haley Elizabeth Olive. Letitia Sante Patterson. Mallory Michelle Presley. Melissa Lynn Rowland. Jasmine Whitley St. Louis. Paula Gibbs Tant. Regina Samiesh Thompson. Lindsay Taylor Turner. Jennifer Aubrey Walker. Megan Elizabeth Wallace. Evelyn Patricia Willimon. Will the candidates for the following degrees please rise? The Master of Arts in Clinical Mental Health Counseling, the Master of Arts in Philanthropy and Development, the Master of Arts in Strength and Conditioning, the Master of Arts in Teaching, the Master of Education, and the Master of Science in Strength and Conditioning degree. T.J. Clay. Joseph S. D'Amato III. Betty Kathleen DeMine. Garfield Edison Duckett. Richard L. Hendricks. Alan Douglas Hunn. Allison Beth Hunn. Sydney Marie Jackson. Kelly Ree Jackson. Linda Natasha Renee Jackson. Andrew Michael Kozusko. Kelsey Morgan Mitchell. Charles Tyler Morrison. Mary Catherine Nix. John E. Rivas. Jennifer Lee Scholand. Tracy Leanne Tinney. Christina Pauline Thurman. Jilla Cadet Smith Tombar. Adrienne Danielle Tucker. Candidates for the degree of Master of Arts in Teaching, please come forward to receive your diplomas. Justin Carl Fettner. Tishana Shermaine Hines. Shabre Tishan Lovelace. Anna Lee McNamee. Santrice Montai Robinson. Shelby Amina Stephen. Stephanie Nicole Thomas. Pamela Cup Wood. Candidates for the degree of Master of Education, please come forward to receive your diplomas. Emily Sarah Arnold. Lauren McGlon Brenning. Jennifer Watley D'Amato. Edgar Hernandez Perez. Yolanda Lorraine Lowe. Craig Evans Mobley. Anna Catherine Mormon. Lindsay Harris Trinrud. Candidates for the degree of Master of Science, please come forward to receive your degrees. Brian Matthew Guthrie, Michael Gregory Mann, Molly Ann Rowell. Will the candidates for the Education Specialist degree please rise? President McAlexander, the graduate faculty certify that these candidates have met the requirements for the Education Specialist degree and recommend that the degree be conferred upon them.
At this time, I invite all specialist degree candidates to assist one another in the donning of the hood. Candidates, please assist the candidate to your right. By the authority of the Board of Trustees in the state of Georgia, I confer upon you the degree of Education Specialist, together with all appropriate honors, rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining.
Candidates for the degree of Education Specialist, please come forward to receive your diplomas. Phyllis Yvonne Cohn. Michelle Perry Freeman. Lindsay Farrell Gore. Robert Lee Heberlin III. Carly Hicks Huddleston. Rebecca June Key. Christy Lee Lenave. Christopher James Lupins Jr. Rajaswari Narasimha. Sharon Jessica Newell. Petra Michelle Pollard. Andrew Mark Washington. Shantivia Calvinetta Wilkinson. President McAlexander, this concludes the conferring of the degrees. Please join me in offering a round of applause for all graduates in the class of 2019.
I want to take this opportunity to thank all of you for being here for this glorious occasion. I want to invite everybody to go to the tents behind you. We have refreshments. It's a great opportunity to say final words to your dearest faculty members and staff that you've come to love, to introduce your families to them if they have not already met them. So please do join us for the reception. And now I will ask that we sing the alma mater, after which the Reverend Dr. Adam Roberts will offer the benediction. Please remain in place, everyone in the audience, during the academic recessional. Thank you for being part of the celebration today.
Hail to thee, our alma mater, guardian of our days. For thy spirit never failing, we will sing thy praise.
Receive now this benediction. A prayer of St. Teresa of Avila of Spain, 16th century, Nada de Turre. Let nothing trouble you, let nothing frighten you. Everything passes away, but God does not. Through patience you will obtain everything. Whoever has God lacks nothing. Only God is enough. In the name of Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Go in peace.